My father joined the AIF. The year was 39. He trained and marched with spirit free. That dear, brave dad of mine. They lined the streets of Bathurst town to watch the parade march through. The regiment marched tall that day. The spirit in them grew. They then embarked from Sydney Quay or Egypt's sunny shore. They trained and marched and trained. Then they marched some more. And when the Germans came to play, they found their spirit willing. But all the marching in the world didn't help with all that killing. When battles big and small had finally been fought, the same men marched again in line, a march of funeral sort. For some were carried on that day, shoulder high and silent, their coffins draped in Southern Cross. Their death was swift and violent. But still the spirit born in the strife marched in my father's heart. His spirit free, his body strong. He knew he'd played his part. The Middle East was far away, his country knew no threat. Until the fall of Singapore, a different foe now met. Back on board, a black force now. Through Suez soon they steamed. A yellow horde were pouring south, unstoppable it seemed. No marches now, just fight and hide, in jungles wet and rotten. More men fell, no time for parades, gone but not forgotten. And then the brass said, fight no more, the war for you has ended. How wrong they were, in Nippon's hand the terror was extended. Free no more, subdued by might, along jungle tracks they trekked. March and work for yellow men, privation had effect. Now march again, at bayonet point their savage captor cried. They marched with spirit only free, and now more good men died. They marched and marched with frames now lean, up Burma's hellfire pass. Some they carried, some they left, their headstones only grass. Their marches soon became a trudge, but still their spirits strong. In hearts they marched with Aussie pride, a pride they'd held so long. Bamboo cane nor rifle butt could stop their marching heart. Sweethearts, mothers, daughters, sons were there, although apart. A second stripe, now earned with blood, although he could never wear it. His service drab was now long gone. He had no sleeve to bear it. But still he marched within his heart, his spirit never broken. His mates the same, formed up beside, their pain and fear unspoken. Long years passed, and so did mates, but spirit still marched brave. Bodies broken, starved and weak. Captive but no slave. The road to hell was paved with blood of friend and mate and brother. Their step was slow, but soul marched proud, for these men knew no other. When finally their freedom came, they formed up three abreast, and marched again, with heads held high, past where their comrades rest. On board again, this time for home, to waiting wives and mothers. This half-dead band of marching men had left friends, came home brothers. Those brave men then marched yet again, the same day every year. They talked of mates and deeds and laughs, and often shed a tear. For 40 years my father marched, my uncles by his side. The men that blood had made my kin, together marched in pride. And came my time to wear a badge of country and slouch hat, the same pride that my kinsman wore upon my shoulders sat. I learnt to march just like my dad, and saw a sight of war. And we all marched and some men died, just like it was before. And when Dad on his deathbed lay, his life here nearly through, he spoke of men we'd never known, in codes we never knew. And in the hospital that day, his family by his side, he marched again on Burma Road, then called a halt and died. And now he sleeps in dappled shades, his victory now has been won. A burnished badge of rising sun states, "Herein lies a son." And from that day a truth came through, a legacy was had. I, my sons, and their sons too, will always march for Dad.